Dune is my most anticipated movie of the year. Finally, I saw it even before its release at the Venice Film Festival. If you wanna know how I saw it early, jump down in the description of the video. Have given a detailed explanation of how I get to see all the movies in advance and left my review even before the US embargo. Now let us jump into the actual Dune review. Before we start, let me just make this thing clear to you. Dune is one of the best sci-fi movies of all time. Everything in this movie was perfect. Let me elaborate everything to you in detail. This movie is based on a novel by Frank Herbert of the same name. That novel is considered as the best sci-fi novel ever written. In fact, Star Wars and Game of Thrones are inspired by Dune. So my biggest worry about this film was whether the filmmakers will bring the source material justice. All of that depended on how the plot was executed, and oh boy, the plot execution was perfect. The way this movie developed moving forward was just so great. It is not only for those who have read the Dune novel. If you're not familiar with the source material, don't worry. They explain all these worlds, characters, houses, and lifestyles. You won't have a hard time to follow up. Once this movie catches its rhythm, it does not lose it at all. And for the die-hard Dune fans, don't worry, this movie does not compress all the source material for itself. It does not cover all of it. It leaves a lot to be covered for future entries. All you guys have to do is to watch the hell out of this film so that Warner Bros. Greenlits a sequel. Denis Villeneuve, the director of this film, is one of the most talented directors in Hollywood. He previously helmed other sci-fi projects like Blade Runner 2049 and Arrival, both of which made their place into their respective years' best movies. And Dune already has a place reserved for itself in 2021. Villeneuve nailed it with his direction. He had worked on this film way longer as compared to his other films, and it will be worth for him as well as for the fans. Villeneuve managed everything from the sci-fi driven action sequences to the complicated storytelling aspects perfectly. He was the perfect choice to make this film. And everyone knows about the star-studded cast of this film, and every single one of them plays their part perfectly. It is hard to choose a favorite among them. Timothée Chalamet delivers his second best performance yet, just behind his role of Elio in Call Me By Your Name, which is still my favorite performance from Chalamet. He brings the character of Paul Atreides to life in the best way. But out of the entire cast, some stood out to me. This includes Rebecca Ferguson's Lady Jessica and Oscar Isaac's Duke Leto. They play the role of Paul's parents and they deliver every line of dialogue incredibly. It is hard to not look at Lady Jessica when she is on screen. Rebecca Ferguson is sure building a great film career. Other than that, Dave Bautista and Ellen Skarsgård also played their roles in a great manner. I would have been more happier if they would have given them a bit more screen time. Zendaya, Josh Brolin, and Jason Momoa were also truly awesome in portraying the characters of Chani, Gurney, and Duncan Idaho, respectively. Well, this movie has been made in such a way that it demands the big screen. The sound mixing and sound editing, along with the mind-blowing score from Hans Zimmer, just add a ton of extra fuel to the movie. This is one of Hans Zimmer's top 3 scores, if not the best. After all, it was difficult to compare with all of the scores that Hans Zimmer has done because he's such a great music soundtrack artist. So he just nailed it down this time. An Oscar nomination for him is for sure. Maybe an Oscar win might also be in the cards. This also makes the theater experience so cool. It was the best theatrical experience I have had in a very long time. Shame to Warner Brothers for sending this to HBOMax the same day. All I'm telling you is to watch this film on the biggest screen possible. You won't get such chances every week. Just don't miss it in theaters. It's that huge event film of the year. I mean, great sci-fi movies are rare. These sci-fi movies are mostly trash when it comes to these normal, like Chaos Walking was a trash film, but Dune, just don't think of that. Dune and Chaos Walking are way different than each other. Dune is just an amazing sci-fi film. Obviously, it's going to be the best sci-fi film of the year, and I can say that, I can guarantee that. As for the artistic approach, as this is a sci-fi film, VFX needs to be top-notch, and sure it was. I'm not saying it was incredible like Star Wars, but it also does not need to be like Star Wars. Both have very different themes, and these kind of VFX were suitable for Dune. Arrakis was brought to life incredibly. As for the costume, hair and makeup, all were great, especially costume designing. All costumes were fabulous. As for the action sequences, it does have a lot of cool action set pieces to show. The quantity, however, was not as much as you would have expected, but I was completely okay with that. I never got excited for the action. What I wanted to see was the storytelling, the epic scope and stakes of the film, the over-the-top world building, etc. But whenever there is action, it is mind-blowing. So overall, Dune is a perfect movie. I have absolutely nothing to complain about it. It was one of the best theatrical experiences I've ever had. It was Denis Villeneuve's best film to date, and these are some big words. It has one of the best Hans Zimmer scores of all time, and it was everything I wanted it to be, and more. It was a perfect film, hence I'm giving this one a 10 out of 10. So that was my Dune review. Share your own thoughts in the comment section down below when you watch the film. And how much are you excited for this film? Share it down, everything in the comments. Like, share and subscribe, Film Villa.